Are you looking for a 50x investment opportunity? Because I've got something you might want to see. In this video, we're going to dive into Basic Attention Token and see why it has strong potential for 50x growth. We're also going to see how the token works and why it's going to take a slice of Google's revenue pie. So if you're keen to see why this token has such strong potential, stick around and let's get into it. Basic Attention Token, or BAT for short, was originally a token only for decentralized advertisement exchange on the Brave web browser. This means that to advertise on the Brave web browser, you had to pay in BAT. This fee is then distributed between the person viewing the ad and the content creator. The consumer can also send extra BAT as a tip to the content creator if they choose to do so. One of the reasons this model has worked so well is that the Brave web browser is very privacy focused and as a result is a default ad blocker, meaning the only ads that you'll see while using the Brave browser are the ones that will be advertised using the Brave ad exchange. Over the last 18 months, BAT has increased its utility to be used for NFT purchases, trading discounts on Brave's decentralized exchange, and soon it will be used for e-commerce purposes. Also, the initial advertising function of the token will be enhanced by incorporating it into the new Brave search features and file sharing features. So BAT is essentially a marketing, e-commerce, tipping, and exchange token. This means that BAT's market cap could potentially be in the tens of billions of dollars, even if it only takes a small market share of each of these industries. Now, since the use cases of BAT are closely correlated to the Brave web browser, let's take a look at this browser and see if it's any good. The Brave web browser is a privacy-focused web browser that has a default ad blocker and automatically blocks all tracking software. The Brave web browser is based on the Chromium open source web browser, which is the same thing that Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, and the Opera browsers are all based on. Both the daily and monthly active users of the Brave browser have been on a steady increase since its release in 2016. The browser currently has 60 million monthly active users and 20 million daily active users. Additionally to this, there's 1.5 million content creators that are signed up to receive Brave rewards, most notably Philip DeFranco. The number of users, content creators, and ad campaigns on the Brave advertising network doubles about every year. This means that the organic demand for Basic Attention Token also doubles with that every year. The increase in all these numbers correlates to a greater demand for Basic Attention Token, as it's the backbone of the Brave ecosystem. I've been using the Brave browser for over 12 months now, and I have to say that it is a noticeably better browser than Google Chrome. I know I'm not the only person that says this, but it gets a glowing recommendation from me and from the wider community, it seems. Also, the integrated DeFi wallet on the Brave browser was very easy to use when I set up my Web3 domain. Brave has also began offering video calling services and VPN services, which it aims to make payable in Basic Attention Token. I won't go too much into how the Brave browser works here for the sake of time. However, I highly recommend you take a look into it for your personal use and also for your research into Basic Attention Token. If you guys want to see a longer video about the Brave web browser, let me know in the comments below and I'll make a video going more in depth about it. The most important takeaway about the Brave web browser is that it's seeing huge adoption, as in the amount of users are doubling every year. And this is one of the key metrics that marketers look for when they're looking for places to promote their products. This increasing growth will just mean greater demand for the Basic Attention Token. The next big factor that will affect price growth of the token is tokenomics. Basic Attention Token has a max supply of 1.5 billion, 99% of which are already in circulation. The token is not heavily concentrated in too many wallets, outside of exchange wallets. As a result of this, there's no particularly large whales that hold onto a lot of Basic Attention Token. As the Basic Attention Token rewards is distributed monthly to both content creators and users, we might see a bit of cyclical kind of price action around this schedule. Now that we know what Basic Attention Token is, its tokenomics and its use cases, let's see why I think it's got a 50x price growth potential. So given that we know what industries BAT aims to address, we can start to work out the potential future value of the token based off the market share and value of these industries. Let's start by establishing what the value of each of these industries are worth. If marketing research is to be believed, the online advertising industry will be worth $800 billion by 2026, and at present it's currently valued at about $500 to $550 billion per year. E-commerce is a lot harder to quantify as it's a bit of a vague term to describe a lot of online activity. It includes everything from streaming to payment services to retail. So I took a few of the particular businesses I think would be susceptible to potentially accepting Brave in the near future, or who already advertise with Brave. I looked at companies like the Wall Street Journal, Netflix, AWS, and a few others. And I came to a conservative estimate that the industry is worth $250 billion. But I believe I'm being quite conservative in this number, and in my honest opinion, I think the industry is worth far more than this. So the next industry, crypto and NFT exchanges. This one varies a lot based on pretty much the cycle of Bitcoin, but it is on a consistent upward trend, so it's likely not to dip much further than where it's at the moment, which is about $50 billion. I've chosen not to include the tipping industry just because Patreon only turns over about $100 million a year, and on top of this, it kind of comes under e-commerce. Now that we know the value of each industry, let's work out what BAT's market share might be in each of these industries. Now, taking into account that most of the Brave software development team are actually former executives of the Mozilla Firefox company, I figure we should use the market share of the Firefox browser as an indicator of the kind of market share that Brave might eventually get. And Brave's market share would by extension be BAT's market share. Even though Firefox's market share has dropped to about 5% of the market currently, historically speaking, it's sat around somewhere between 10 and 30% of the market. From here, it's a pretty simple equation. We just take the value of each of these industries and times it by the market share of what BAT and Brave will have of each of these industries. So if we calculate this equation, we get a market cap of about $75 billion for the basic attention token. This would correlate to 150x of its current prices. But let's ease up our expectations a little bit, because I have some concerns about BAT's potential growth. My first concern is about basic attention tokens centralization. While the basic attention token is an ERC20 token on the Ethereum blockchain, the rewards mechanism and advertising systems are handled off-chain by the Brave software company's servers. This unfortunately gives some credibility to the idea that basic attention token might be seen as a security in the Brave software company by government regulators. Although it's hard to know for sure because the regulations around cryptocurrency at the moment is a bit all over the shop. Now, the Brave software company have discussed this issue and have the intention of moving all these mechanisms on-chain instead of off-chain. But given this is the first of its kind of a blockchain, they're encountering issues making this happen. So it is taking a lot longer than first anticipated. The other problem I see with this centralization of the basic attention token is that the Brave software company is in the ultimate control of who can and who cannot get paid as a content creator or as an end user of the platform. I couldn't help but imagine that in the case of basic attention token being used during, say, the Canadian truckers' protest earlier this year, that the Canadian government may have been able to tell Brave, you can't pay people any basic attention token, and Brave would have been forced to comply. This would ultimately affect the faith that people have in the basic attention token if it could be banned just like normal money could in bank accounts. However, it is worth noting that this centralization has also been a good thing for the basic attention token ecosystem, as this means that Brave has been able to implement the upgrades as it sees fit to the Brave web browser and to the basic attention token. All of this without having to worry about making the validators agree with Brave software's point of view. So that's one positive of the centralization of the basic attention token. However, moving on to my second biggest concern, competition. The biggest competition will come from pre-existing web browsers like Google Chrome and Apple Safari. These browsers dominate the market because they're already integrated into their respective operating systems, whether it be the Android operating system or the iOS operating system. On top of this, both of these browsers have huge marketing budgets where they could drown out any kind of advertisement that Brave actually puts out there about its own web browser. Despite this, I believe Brave will still grow in this industry because its product is a fundamentally better offering than anything Apple, Google, or Microsoft can put out there. This is for a few reasons. For one, it pays its users. 2, it's privacy preserving. And 3, it's a default ad blocker. These 3 features are things that will probably never be seen on any of these browsers, as it's fundamentally opposing to what those browsers are there to do. On top of this, in recent years, there's been a massive push by users for privacy preservation. You can see this in the doubling of the use of the Linux operating system, or the rapid adoption of VPNs. So a free, easy to use, privacy preserving browser has a larger market than most people would think. In terms of a competitor in the crypto space, there really isn't any notable ones. So the Basic Attention Token has some big ambitions, but can the team get us there? Well, thankfully, the team behind Basic Attention Token is extremely capable and experienced, beginning with the CEO and co-founder of Brave, Brendan Eich. Brendan Eich has some serious credentials in the programming space, given that he was the creator of the JavaScript programming language, one of the co-founders of the Mozilla Firefox web browser, and at one point was a CTO and at another point was a CEO of the Firefox Foundation. He left Mozilla Firefox web browser company in 2014 to pursue the creation of Brave. He carries master's degrees in computer science and mathematics, and his name holds a lot of weight in the tech industry. Not to mention, the Mozilla Firefox web browser was known for its privacy preservation before Google got a hold of it. Once this ability to preserve privacy on the Mozilla Firefox web browser was gone, Brendan Eich was looking to move on. The other co-founder of the Brave software company was a guy called Brian Bondi, who was a senior software developer and lead software developer at Mozilla Firefox and the Khan Academy. Brian also holds degrees in mathematics and computer science from the University of Waterloo in Canada. I'll keep the segment on the Brave team short for the sake of time, but just know that the Brave software company has some of the biggest names in privacy preservation, web browsing, and many other areas of software development. As a result of this, the company is more than capable of reaching the eventual goals that Basic Attention Token aims to achieve. This leads me to my overall thoughts about the whole project. Basic Attention Token has some serious potential. It has big ambitions and a team that can get it there. Brave is a truly unique offering that is superior to the other web browsers out there. And the token itself will be addressing markets that will be worth trillions in coming years. This being said, centralization and regulation of the Basic Attention Token remain serious concerns for me. But I think ultimately, these two things will not kill the token. So ultimately, I'll still be allocating a small amount of my portfolio to Basic Attention Token. However, I won't be doing it over the next few months given the current bear market we're in. If you want to see an asset that I think has greater potential than BAT, take a look in the description or one of these video tiles somewhere around me. As always though, this isn't financial advice, just a research aid. Go out there, do your own research, and see if you can prove me wrong in my assessment of Basic Attention Token. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Toodles!